My name is Tony. I harbour a deep affection for Michael Winner which few seem to share. Where others find him crass, vulgar, slapdash and disturbing, so do I. But I also thought him fun, mischievous. He was blessed with the unerring ability to prick the pomposity of critics, dick with the sensibilities of the censors, and offend the sensitivities of those in love with their own self-righteous morality. He honestly didn't give much of a flying one for what anyone else thought, and when the going was good, did only what he wanted to do the way he wanted it done. So in 1983, when he decided to remake a British period flick from 1945, once considered quite risque, I'm pretty sure his thoughts were of the now, how can I piss the blowhards off and make some money variety. Early doors, I suspect he was already formulating deliberate mechanisms to trigger outrage and disproportionate offence, and have a good laugh at the expense of the turkeys in his sights. The original was a very popular costume drama in its day, recounting the story of an amoral noblewoman who teams up with a notorious highwayman to knock off passenger coaches for kicks and have a high old time, until it all inevitably goes off the rails. Margaret Lockwood and James Mason were the leads, 17th century versions of Bonnie and Clyde. What attracted Winner is anyone's guess. In part, I think the original was a film he enjoyed in his youth. Additionally, it was probably the opportunities the story afforded for indulging himself in a high-camp romp, liberally peppered with sex, nudity and violence. Two of those words will now jerk the chain of the YouTube algorithm and result in automatic restriction and demonetization for this review. I'll give you a clue as to which two. Violence isn't one of them. Yeah, that's right, sex and nudity. Shit, said them again. That's really pissed in the chips then. Winner bought the rights to remake the film and tapped up Canon, good old purveyors of quality and taste, Golan and Globus, for the finance. One thing Winner was really good at was roping major players into his casts. This time he got Oscar winner Faye Dunaway to take the title role. Despite Dunaway's reputation for being difficult, Winner thought her professional and delightful. He called her Faisy or Miss Dunaway throughout the shoot. She didn't seem to mind either. Kitchen Sink alumni Alan Bates took the James Mason role of highwayman Jerry Jackson, and they were off. It's rural England in the late 1600s, and Caroline, Glynis Barber, is about to be wed to aristocratic landowner Sir Ralph Skelton, Denham Elliot. She invites her sister Barbara, Faye Dunaway, to be her bridesmaid. Before we get to this bit though, before we get to anything, Winner lays out the film's credentials. He kicks off with such delightfully bucolic scenes of pastoral splendour as a crow pecking the brains out of a hanging corpse, a naked couple rutting away in a barn, and a man with a rope around his neck being dragged across a field by a horse. Oh, merry old England, how those days are sorely missed. Already I'm expecting a cross-pollination of Witchfinder General, Lady Chatterley's Lover and Carry On Dick, folk horror, aristo-porn and smutty British comedy. And well, yeah, sort of. The scheming Barbara seduces Sir Ralph by pretending to fall off a horse. She hoists her petticoats as enticement when he goes to her aid. One knee trembler later and Ralph has decided to ditch Caroline and marry Barbara instead. Is so sweet and nice she even agrees to be Barbara's maid of honour and stick around after the wedding to help with running the estate. Doormat much? On her wedding day, Barbara catches the eye of local landowner Kit Loxby, Oliver Tobias, and immediately gets the hots for him. She doesn't hang around this one. Straight away she's out of the marital bed, sleeping in a previously locked room which has a secret passageway to the outside. Bored with the slow-paced country lifestyle, she seeks her thrills by disguising herself as highwayman Captain Jackson and robbing coaches by night. When she encounters the real Jackson, Alan Bates, they form a criminal and sexual partnership. And it's all good fun, except she's being watched very closely by Sir Ralph's faithful old retainer Hogarth, John Gielgud, a doddery religious fanatic. He puts a stop to her activities and agrees to keep quiet just so long as she undergoes a program of repentance. She poisons him instead, and when that doesn't see him off quickly enough, suffocates him with a pillow. On discovering Jackson is sleeping with another woman, Marina Sirtis, she anonymously betrays him. He is captured by Sir Ralph and sentenced to be hanged at Tyburn for his crimes. Caroline has moved to London, where she runs into Loxby and they begin a sexual affair. He proposes marriage, which doesn't best please Barbara, who still wants him for herself. What she doesn't know is there is chicanery and subterfuge afoot. Caroline loves Ralph, and Ralph has realised he loves Caroline. Loxby loves Barbara, and his forthcoming marriage to Caroline is a ploy to get Ralph and Barbara to agree to divorce, so that Ralph can marry Caroline and Loxby can marry Barbara, only Barbara doesn't know any of this, which is sort of going to cause a bit of a problem. Barbara and Caroline travel to Tyburn to witness Jackson's hanging. Jackson's girl, Curtis, engages Barbara in a truly fabulous comedy catfight, with whips and bare breasts as a distraction, so that Jackson's friends can cut him down and spirit him away. Later, Jackson gains access to Barbara's room and rapes her for her betrayal. Gotta at least be one rape in a Winner movie, wouldn't be the same without it. Barbara cooks up a scheme to murder Ralph. He, Loxby and Caroline will be travelling somewhere or other by coach. Barbara, disguised as Jackson, will stick up the coach and kill Ralph, pinning the murder on Jackson, as him taking revenge for his capture. Only Jackson turns up and threatens to alert Ralph, so Barbara shoots him dead. Then, just as she is about to unload a flintlock into Ralph, Loxby shoots and fatally wounds her. Barbara makes it back to her room, where Caroline finds her bleeding heavily from a gunshot wound. The plunder from her robberies is in plain view. Loxby is disgusted on finding out the truth and abandons her to her fate. Winner films Dunaway in the most flattering light, and she looks absolutely amazing. More than that, she seems to be enjoying herself, giving a supremely arch and devious impression of melodramatic villainy. In fact, everyone throws themselves into the proceedings with overblown theatrical enthusiasm. Bates is suitably roistering and devil-may-care, Gielgud slices the ham yea thick, and a thigh-slapping pantomime atmosphere pervades all. The whole thing plays like some weird restoration farce and certainly provides something of a unique experience. Faye Dunaway said in an interview at the time it was the only film she ever enjoyed making, which sounds like something Winner might have attributed to her as part of his lifelong self-promotion initiative. Then way back in the early 70s, you find that Marlon Brando said the exact same thing about starring in Winner's The Nightcomers, and I find that very plausible because I know he and Winner became close friends and kept in regular contact until Brando's death in 2004, so I have some faith there's some truth in it. Not everyone was happy though. The admittedly gorgeous Marina Sirtis, who later found fame as Deanna Troi in Star Trek The Next Generation, had nothing good to say about Winner. She was Jackson's girl in The Wicked Lady, the one who gets whipped and spills her baps all over the screen. She found the experience of working with Winner so degrading and unpleasant that she went back for more, taking the role of Maria in Death Wish 3 in 1985. This time a character got raped and spilled her baps all over the screen. What's the psychology here? Some protest too much thing I just don't get? It's like all those actresses who claimed abuse by Weinstein yet went back for more. He sexually molested me in a hotel room. 3 days later I went back to his hotel room alone to meet with him again. Same thing happened. The man is a monster. You just can't trust him. Yeah, no kidding. I'll never quite grasp the psychosocial dynamics of it, but then I've been repeatedly told by experts, women mainly, and with no little acuity, I don't understand women. Never a truer word was spoken. I don't, and never will, because at this time in my life I no longer want to. I just want to avoid and admire from a distance. A large distance. It's safer that way. How best to approach the Wicked Lady then? To quote John McEnroe, "You cannot be serious!" When a yokel dances on screen holding a pig in his arms and grinning like a fatuous imbecile, you know this is in no way intended to be a serious drama. It's a riotous piss take from beginning to end. The evidence, my lord? Every other horse ride encounters dead bodies lynched from trees like low-hanging fruit. They're fucking everywhere. Every other door that opens reveals either someone having furious sex or topless women proudly exhibiting their bare breasts. Every village has not just one, but a literal army of idiots. The aristos ain't much brighter. One of the landed gentry repeatedly cries, "Hang 'em all!" as a solution to civil unrest or any vexatious issue, really. Oliver Tobias's wig seems to have a life of its own, growing and restyling itself from scene to scene, like freeform alien topiary. Then he's made to wear increasingly oversized headgear of alarmingly voluminous proportions. Did Winner not like this guy because he's made to look fucking ridiculous? All the while retaining the same fixed, smouldering scowl he perfected whilst porking Joni Collins in The Stud. The Stud is a softcore porn film, by the way. Escapades in pubs and encounters with crowds take on the tone and content of Jacobean Stuart-era renditions of the panic scene from Airplane. The sex scenes are either comically rampant or aim for faux last tango artiness that just dies on its arse, flatlining any potential for stimulating eroticism. A smile is all they are likely to raise. The Wicked Lady is one hysterically funny parody, alright. As for the dialogue, it really has to be heard to be believed. Ironically, it's Marina Sirtis who has the best and best delivered line. When Dunaway confronts her and Bates in bed, she issues her threats, "You'll regret this," etc., and angrily storms out. Sirtis reacts with,
What's that?
Who the fuck was that? Exactly. Speaks volumes and shouldn't leave anyone in any doubt about what it is they're watching.
And now the censor baiting starts.
The frantic, fun-packed whip fight got the BBFC hot under the collar. Now you can't tell me that Winner, who knew the score well enough, didn't know the reaction it was likely to provoke. He was told the film would be granted an X certificate only if the whole scene was completely excised from the picture. Winner rallied support from industry chums and luminaries such as Derek Malcolm, Kingsley Amis, Lindsay Anderson and Faye Weldon. Got them to write protest letters on behalf of his appeal against the decision. The BBFC backed down and the film was released with an X certificate and uncut. The score is by Genesis keyboardist Tony Banks. God alone knows how he got involved. And it's half carry-on film, half classical orchestral piece. The cinematography by the great old master Jack Cardiff gives the production a more lavish sheen than the budget honestly allowed for. The costume and set design are chocolate box pretty, but whoever did the wigs and hairdressing had a certain surreal sense of humour. Much like Winner in that respect. One thing he couldn't be accused of is lacking a sense of humour, and here he taps into his predilection for the ridiculous and absurd and lets slip the dogs are warped. The rules are, don't take any of it seriously, expect a very loose interpretation of history and prepare to have some fun with it. If you approach it as a wacky pantomime of bawdy, boisterous, free-ranging satire executed with a cavalier flourish, you might enjoy it. And if you don't, never mind, because I do. Thank you for your time and attention. Please feel free to do whatever you choose to do next. Hit like, don't like, comment, subscribe, check out my early access Patreon thing, or even make a welcome financial contribution via the thanks button. On the one hand, I feel I should make the effort to modify the content of my reviews and make them more acceptable to the politer elements of the YouTube community. On the other hand, I think, fuck 'em. Any opinions? Back soon.